Hi PMC chemistry students, I'm Mr. Jacob and this is...
I'm Mr. Henry.
And we are here today to demonstrate for you an experiment that involves lemon juice as well as sodium hydroxide. We're going to do a titration on it. Again, Mr. Henry here will demonstrate for us how to carry out your titration effectively, accurately and fast. Okay, to make sure you guys are scoring for your O-level or any of your practical exams. So this is our apparatus right here today, our pipette filler, our pipette, DI water, lemon juice, trimethylene indicator, sodium hydroxide, conical flask, and your burette.
So I'm going to clean the burette with DI water.
Wait, Mr. Henry, why are you rinsing your burette with DI water?
Oh, I'm just going to clean it.
Yes, but let's think this through a little bit, shall we? I mean, at the end of the day, we are going to fill it with sodium hydroxide. So let's use an analogy here. Imagine you are filling this burette with Milo, although you shouldn't do that, but yeah, Milo. Then would you want a little bit of water actually towards the end at the burette, at the bottom of the burette when you're adding your Milo in?
Maybe not.
Why not?
Because it will dilute the Milo.
Exactly, right? There is some form of dilution here, and we are actually using a 1 mole per dm cube sodium hydroxide in this experiment. So if you have actually just a little bit of water inside the burette, that actually already dilutes the sodium hydroxide that you're supposed to have. So actually, Mr. Henry, what do you think we should be rinsing this burette with?
So I think we should just rinse with the 1 mole per dm cube sodium hydroxide that we are trying to fill with.
Yeah, I think so, right? I think then there won't be any effect of dilution at all, and I think the burette will eventually just be totally filled with sodium hydroxide. So I'll leave you to it, fill it up and rinse it with sodium hydroxide then.
Okay. Usually I will just fill about 1/3 to half full. So with this volume, what you can do is you can tilt it over so that you ensure that every part of the burette inside is actually washed. And then at the end of the tilting, turn on the tap, so it ensures that the sodium hydroxide is washing the bottom of the burette as well. So once some of that has passed through, the rest is fine. Then you just tilt it over, okay, and then turn on the tap again, pour everything up. So right now I'm going to clean the conical flask with some DI water, and then at the end of it, just swirl a bit to ensure that every part of the inside is being cleaned. Then just pour away.
So Mr. Henry, do you think rinsing it with distilled water would affect our measurements later on?
I don't think it will affect the measurement, okay? Because ultimately we are trying to measure the number of moles of citric acid inside the lemon juice. So in this case, the amount of water that you add will actually not affect the number of moles of the citric acid. Alright,
so what Mr. Henry is doing here is actually pipetting the lemon juice into the 25 cm cube pipette. So what we usually do is we will actually attach the pipette onto the retort stand so that your pipette is standing upright straight. So, and also you can actually visualize your volume of liquid and the meniscus at eye level. Alright, so of course, with your pipette filler, press onto the S button, alright, to just suck the liquid upwards. Alright, so again, just a quick emphasis once more. Once your liquid reaches the top, slow down a little bit, just make sure you don't go over the mark, alright, and make sure that ultimately your liquid is at the prescribed level, also at eye level. Next, I think we are ready to dispense this 25 cm cube of lemon juice into our conical flask. After ensuring that you also have no more air bubbles within the pipette itself, we are now ready to dispense the fluid into the conical flask. We do that not by pressing the E button, but just by simply removing your pipette filler and letting the liquid flow into your conical flask naturally. Alright, once your liquid is almost finished filling up your conical flask, I will actually tap the tip of the pipette at the bottom of the conical flask to ensure that every single drop of lemon juice is fully filled up into your conical flask itself.
So now I've already filled up the burette with 50 cm cube of 1 mole per dm cube sodium hydroxide. And the next thing that I'm going to do is to come back to the conical flask and add about 1 or 2 drops of indicator inside. Okay. And then I'm going to place the conical flask below the burette carefully. And I'm going to start adding the sodium hydroxide dropwise.
Mr. Henry, if I'm going to add my sodium hydroxide dropwise into the conical flask, wouldn't my first titration take like forever? Right, I think First, since our first experiment is supposed to be an estimation or a approximate kind of titration, I think it would be just wise for us to turn on the tap, let the liquid flow, and just take note of the rough range at which our solution actually changes color. Then from there, I think it better advises us for our next few titration to come about where to stop. So, Mr. Henry, please take it away. I think we can just turn on the tap and let it run.
Okay, so yeah, we can just turn it on, and at the same time keep swirling the flask. Okay.
Alright, so I think it now appears to us that the solution has turned blue, but perhaps since this is actually just an approximate estimated amount, we could have already overshot the actual endpoint. So if we take a look at our volumes right here, I think we are at around the 17 to 17.2 cm3 range. So it actually advises us for our next few titrations to come, we should actually start adding drop-wise only when we are approaching the 17 cm3 mark. Perhaps maybe since 15 cm3, then we'll start adding drop-wise. So this we save time, alright, and we can actually work more efficiently here. So see you guys for the next titration. Alright, so for your very second titration here, you need to be much more accurate than the first. So what we have done here was to refill our burette up to the 0 cm3 mark, and we are ready to begin our titration again. So what Mr. Henry is going to do here is he will add a few drops of the indicator back into the Konica flask before starting the reaction. And once you start, you guys must remember that your very first titration, you guys obtain a volume of about 17.2. So in this case, feel free to let your volume of your liquid run, alright, all the way from 0 to say about 15 before you start going drop-wise again. Alright, so Mr. Henry, take it away. Alright, so as mentioned, from 0 to 15 cm3, Mr. Henry is just going to let the volume of sodium hydroxide run freely from your burette. Alright, and only close to 15 cm3 will he start turning down, alright, the tap. Okay, to let the drop of sodium hydroxide go down drop-wise. Alright, at times you are going to realize that actually you will start seeing that your indicator is turning blue. Just make sure, alright, that throughout the entire process, you guys are swirling the flask to ensure that the color will be a permanent one by your endpoint. Alright, and this color right here is the endpoint that we are looking to get. Alright, so the volume that we can actually record here is around 17 cm3 to about 17.1. Do read this reading accurately using your eye level. Alright, and from there, then we can actually repeat this experiment one last time. And if you guys notice here, alright, the entire burette is 50 cm3 or can contain 50 cm3 of sodium hydroxide. You guys used only less than half the amount. So technically speaking, you guys can save yourself some time. You don't need to refill the burette back to 0 cm3 mark for your very last experiment. You guys can continue with this sodium hydroxide at around 17.1 cm3, alright, and just let it run for your very final experiment. So we have come to the end of the experiment here. So with regards to the titration experiment between sodium hydroxide as well as citric lemon juice, alright, so we hope you have learned something useful here for your titration in terms of skills. Alright, and we hope that you will do your titration in school, for example, alright, much more efficiently than before. Alright, so with that, we come to the end of today's demonstration. Alright, I'm Mr. Jacob.
And I'm Mr. Henry.
See you in the next one. Bye-bye.